Tun, turururun, tun, tururun.
We finally made it to Caravan Rebot. It's pretty lively here. So, just past this wall is the desert, huh? Oh, wow. Paimon remembers hearing people call this the Wall of Samiel. It's made to block sandstorms from the outside. Oh, if it's this tall, it's gotta be the divine work of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, right?
Es impresionante.
Enough gawking. Come on, follow me.
Huh?
Sálgase. Mira quién encontramos por
Over
aquí.
here.
Por aquí me dice. Me dice por aquí.
Oh, Haytham went that way! Let's hurry up and follow him. Wonder what he's up to.
What the? Where did she go? How did we lose them? They were just here a second ago.
Ah, me han estado siguiendo.
More Eremite mercenaries?
Mercenarios
Who are they
eremitas.
working for this time?
Porque los eremitas son mercenarios. Y los eremitas que andan por ahí andando, porque hay eremitas que andan por ahí
You were
andando.
too careless.
¿Qué hay con
You should
ellos?
have noticed those hopeless amateurs trailing you a long time ago.
Gracias, Almacenamiento.
There's no need to thank me. I've never cared to keep track of personal favors. All I did was correct a mistake I happened to come across. It's a habit I developed at the academia.
You really gave Paimon a scare, Haytham. We never thought we'd run into you here. Last time we met at Port Ormos, didn't you say you were going back to the academia? Wait, don't tell Paimon that you're here to take us back on their orders!
Oh, so you've already landed yourselves on the academia's hit list. I can't say that I didn't expect it. However, had I wished to turn you over to the academia, don't you think you'd already be the Eremites' honored guests by now?
Oh, right. You do have a point.
I have no interest in running errands for that project. As a scholar, I've always belonged to the camp that promotes researcher autonomy. And these days, you're more fascinating than anything the sages can offer.
Ya viniste a verme.
Not quite. To tell you the truth, I'm still investigating the Divine Knowledge Capsule. Unfortunately, I've run into some difficulties. Everyone says the capsule originated in the desert and was eventually moved to Port Ormos. If I am to get to the bottom of this, I must understand how the capsule first came to be. Which brings me back to you, and why you're so interesting. The leader of Ain al-Ahmar used the Divine Knowledge Capsule right in front of you, and upon seeing him, your expression became perplexed, and you were lost in thought for quite some time. To have that kind of reaction, I think you must have realized something. Are you interested at all in sharing what you've been hiding from me?
O sea que...
Haytham, you really have a ridiculous eye for detail. What kind of person even notices or remembers stuff like that?
La situación es un poco
So
complicada.
that's your answer. Well, I do work for the academia after all. So considering that, it is indeed wise to keep your cards close to your chest. But that does prove you do have some undisclosed information about the Divine Knowledge Capsule. Am I right? No matter. Rather than simply learning the answers from you, I'd still prefer to investigate on my own. Speaking of, you two are also headed to the desert?
That's right. We have the same plan as you. But we don't concrete goals at the moment.
Then I'd suggest starting with Aru Village. It's the largest settlement in the desert, so it'll probably have more resources and intel than anywhere else. Well, would you like to head there together?
De acuerdo.
It's always better to travel with someone you know. Let's go!
Bueno, el siguiente punto.
Welcome, weary travelers. All who seek rest will find it here.
El siguiente puntito. ¿Dónde vamos? Tengo que irme ahora hasta por allá. Yo ya he explorado esta zona un poco. Bueno, bastante. No, un poco. Un poco. Hubiera explorado bastante, habría conseguido ya abrir un montón de cofres. O todos los cofres, conociéndome. Cuando tengo tiempo libre, así un fin de semana, saco bastante de eso, ¿eh? Me pongo a hacer misiones. Y curiosamente, entre ayer y hoy he tenido bastante tiempo, así que hacerlo. Iría por el camino mejor. Creo que iría por el camino mejor. Yeah. Interesante todo este desierto, ¿eh? Muy interesante.
Another test subject.
Ay, chuchi.
Think you can bully me? Propagate!
I got carried. I got carried.
Scatter!
Taste.
Shake his hand, stir!
Me gusta que pegue duro la viajera. Me vacila bastante que pegue duro. Bueno. ¿A dónde vamos? Ah, oye, oye. Déjame pasar ya.
These things.
Ah, no sabía que había un cofre ahí. Vaya. Sorpresa la mía. Disgustos que dan gustos. Bueno, el camino creo que es por aquí. Ahí está. Sí, ahí está. No podía teletransportarme, pero si lo hubiera hecho no me habría encontrado ese cofre.
Before us lies Aru Village, the safe haven of the desert folk.
Whoa, this landscape is really something else. What a cool place! Let's go check it out!
Me gusta el desierto, es un área bastante interesante. Ah, ¿qué pasó? Ah, chuchi, Cyno. Tranquilo, causa, tranquilo, soy yo. Tu viajero. O tu viajera, no sé.
Unless my memory fails me, we have barely spoken 2 words to each other before now at the Academia. Would you care to enlighten me as to when and how I invited the General Mahamatra's wrath?
¿Y provocó la ira de un gran juez?
Do not think you can escape my judgment, just because you managed to escape my attack.
Judgment? So that's how you'd characterize your actions here, is it? Or would elimination perhaps be a more accurate description?
Had I used my full strength, not even this traveler would have been able to stop me. Though styled like an assassination, I sought only to ensure that my target would be unable to flee or resist. Standard practice for the Matra, as well you know.
Seemed to me more like your own personal touch.
Ah, vale.
Who is that, Alhaitham? Did you call him General Mahamatra?
Yes. General Mahamatra Cyno, head of all the Matra at the Academia. He's a formidable hunter, and the ultimate nightmare for any who have committed academic crimes.
You seem to have placed a lot of trust in Alhaitham, to the point of blocking an attack for him. If I were you, I'd never choose to side with him. I wouldn't believe a single word that comes out of his mouth. I have been pursuing this scribe for a long time. I urge you, stand back and do not seek to defend him any longer. Otherwise, there will be consequences.
Tampoco me fío tanto de él. Tampoco me voy a quedar de brazos cruzados.
Has Alhaitham done something wrong? Paimon doesn't think he's as bad as you've made him out to be.
Sí, sí, es que tampoco me iba a quedar así nomás, ¿no? De brazos cruzados.
Alhaitham, I saw it during our fight.
Mientras
Take it
peleábamos.
out. The divine knowledge capsule you're hiding on your person. Unless you want me to retrieve it for myself.
Very perceptive of you. Nothing escapes a Matra's senses.
Wait,
¿Una
the
matra?
divine knowledge capsule? Didn't it fall into the Matra's hands in Port Ormos?
Una cápsula. ¿Por qué nos
No wonder
engañaste?
you speak with such
Me
confidence,
extraña que
Cyno.
hable con tanta
But I must
convicción.
admit, I'm very curious. What does this capsule mean to you? And why, as General Mahamatra of the Academia, are you all alone in the desert? As far as I'm aware, the other Matra have been speculating about your disappearance. Have you been given a mission that's, let's say, morally dubious? If I was the real target of your
yeah.
mission, what was stopping you from simply using your authority and resources to judge me within the walls of the Academia?
Los sabios que asignaron esta misión.
I should have known you'd be difficult to deal with.
You two? Ugh. What should we do, Traveler? Paimon feels like we can't trust either of them.
Es en serio.
Well, look
Ah,
at you two.
ay,
looking
ahí
all
viene
tough
mi
and
wife.
Self-righteous over there.
Wait,
Sí.
Dia? Great! Finally, someone that we can trust! You gotta help us out here. Otherwise, these two are gonna start fighting again!
Yeah, sure looks that way. 2 giants from the Academia duking it out once and for all. Not something you get to see every day, that's for sure. Listen, I know you academic types love to fill up your big brains with self-righteous morality and lord your empty rules and virtues over each other. But how dare you bring your petty disputes into the safe haven of Aru Village? It seems like someone's gonna have to beat some sense into your thick skulls until you finally learn to respect these grounds.
Ni siquiera voltearon a ver a Deia.
Hey, did either of you hear a word I just said?
Viento.
Whoa, what's going on? The
Dice el
wind's so
viento.
strong. Is this a sandstorm? Paimon's gonna get blown away!
Another sandstorm? What's up with these recently?
Hey! All of you, over here, quickly! We have to take
Ah,
cover!
Candace.
Someone's calling for us! Oh, this wind is too strong! Let's get over there!
That sounded like Candace. Come
Salió
on, you
Candace.
two. Jeez,
Bien.
all of you academia folks, such hard work. Move it!
All right, stop yelling.
Pero nunca me salió Candace. Lo intenté que me saliera y nunca me salió Candace. Maldición. Mala suerte la mía. Muy mala suerte la mía. Todos en silencio. Hasta de ella está en silencio. ¿Por qué?
Well,
Todos están calladitos,
this
calladitos.
is pretty
¿Qué pasó aquí?
awkward.
Es incómodo.
Wanna play sardines with 3 people who wanna tear each other limb from limb? Sure, why not? Sounds fun. The air is so thick and heavy. Paimon can hardly keep floating anymore.
My sincere apologies, everyone. This is the home of our village chief. I will have to ask you to make do with this small room until the sandstorm dies down. Please, let me introduce myself. I am Candace, protector of Aru village.
Sus ojos.
Come at last. Nice to meet you, Candace. The name's Paimon. Thank you so
Tiene
much
un
for
ojo
helping us.
azul y uno amarillo. Interesante.
There's no need to thank me. It's only right to help each other when the weather gets rough.
Wow, she's so gentle and caring, like a nice older sister. Unlike those guys over there.
All right. Now that we're all better acquainted, we should return to the topic at hand. As a guardian charged with the responsibility to protect my fellow villagers from harm, I was observing your conflict from afar, even before the sandstorm started. And now that you have set foot within our village itself, it is all the more my responsibility to make absolutely sure that you pose no threat whatsoever to us. So please,
Tiene sentido.
have an honest and sincere
Tiene razón,
conversation with
tiene
one another
razón.
and put your hostile feelings to rest. If anyone dares to start anything again while they are under this roof, I will not hesitate to send them out for some quality time with the creatures of the sandstorm.
Oh, on second thought, Paimon may have misjudged Candace's character.
And that goes for you too, Miss Dia. Do I make myself clear?
All right, we got it, Candace.
Estamos en su casa, caballero, ¿no?
That's what I like to hear.
Que portarte bien.
So, which of you will begin?
I was supposed to be a mediator, but I might have gotten a little too involved
La
just now.
mediadora.
Anyway, one of those two should probably start talking.
Wait,
A
That's
huevo
you
que tengo que
trying to be a
conseguir a Deya. No sé qué elemento es Deya.
I
Parece que
have
es
nothing
elemento
to hide,
fuego. Parece que
so
es
there's no
elemento
shame in
geo. Creo
explaining
que es
myself.
geo.
While all Haytham
Pero yo
wasn't
tengo que
wrong
conseguir
about
a
the other
Deya.
mantra not knowing my
Si
whereabouts,
consigo a
it's not because
Nájida,
I've been
sería
assigned a
bueno.
morally dubious mission.
Pero ojalá que
Rather,
Deya sea un 5 estrellas.
I've chosen to
Sería
exile
interesantísimo.
myself.
huh? Exile yourself?
Aunque si no, sería mejor
A
que
little
sea un
while
4
ago,
estrellas. Más chance para
I
conseguirla.
discovered that there was data missing in the academia's project planning and development files. What little they did report clearly did not match the project's actual progress. As General Mahamatra, I had the responsibility and authority to request an audit. However, to my surprise, the person responsible for the erroneous data was none other than Grand Sage Azar himself. I tried to investigate the issue myself before submitting a formal audit request, but I soon found that all leads and potential pieces of incriminating evidence were carefully concealed from me. I began to realize that they were cautious of me from the very beginning. Unsurprisingly, the Grand Sage rejected my audit request as soon as the submission reached his desk. He even said to me, "The power of the General Mahamatra is granted by the sages. You have no right to judge us."
So they really are up to no good.
I realized then that to the Grand Sage, the Matra are nothing more than tools for the sages to assert and maintain their control over knowledge. The vows that we took, the principles that we strive to uphold, they are meaningless to the academia of today.
Ok.
I believed it would be wise to flee the academia before the sages had a chance to take action against me. This way, they can no longer see nor predict my actions.
O sea que Cyno
I
también
will never
tenía
give up on this investigation.
algo que ver con la
There's no need
academia.
for
O
someone
sea, yo
else to
creí
give
que
me
no todos los
power
personajes
or
tenían que ver
authority.
con la academia, ¿no?
Once I find the
Pero
truth,
veo que Cyno,
I will administer
al igual que
judgment
varios,
by my
sí
own
tienen que ver
name.
con la academia.
Cyno seems to have the same goal as us. We're all investigating the sages. Plus, now that he's no longer the General Mahamatra, he somehow feels a lot less scary.
Todavía no podemos confiar del todo en él. Y si se ha inventado toda la historia. Ah, quería dar algo positivo,
Cyno,
pero bueno.
if that's your story, then why did you see Alhaitham as a target?
When I was investigating the matter in the academia, I overheard a conversation between Alhaitham and a sage. The sages asked you to investigate a blonde-haired traveler. Do you dispute this, Alhaitham?
What?
Like many parts of the project, this assignment was undocumented. Now throw in your suspicious behavior with the Divine Knowledge Capsule, and I think we deserve an explanation.
Así que Alja se me ha vigilado desde el principio.
Yes.
Los sabios
I
me han
was indeed
vigilado
tasked with investigating the traveler.
desde el principio.
After all, the promised reward was so great that hardly any scholar could have refused. The
Parece
sage
que hay dos
told me,
personitas que se han interesado en mi directo. Señores, gracias. Sé que solo son dos,
I can
pero igual
give
les
you a
agradezco
glimpse of
bastante.
divine knowledge.
A most enticing offer.
Unfortunately, those academics don't know me at all.
Aunque
Their
el
words
propósito
contained
del
one
directo
key
es
piece of
grabar,
information,
pero
namely
quise
that
hacer
divine
pues un
knowledge
directo
indeed
y
exists.
nada, pues,
That
¿no?
gave me all
A
I
ver
needed
si
to know.
alguien más entra, sería
From my
genial también.
perspective, the sages are far from trustworthy. Think about it. Isn't it a little strange they're so willing to share divine knowledge with anyone, even as a reward? So, I began my own investigation following the lead of the divine knowledge capsule. In the end, I realized my wisdom in committing to this rather than collaborating with the sages. Had I been less guarded, I probably would have ended up like that Ain al-Ahmar mercenary, incapable of remaining sane for long enough to hold a conversation.
You mean that the sages originally planned to dispose of you, using one of those capsules that drive people insane?
Y aquí, ¿y qué hay de nuestro encuentro? ¿Te uniste a mí solo para poder investigarme?
I'd already
Creo que fue
given up on the
casual.
assignment by then. I only told the academia I was waiting in Port Ormos for you to appear so they wouldn't suspect anything.
Creo que lo de
So
nuestro
it came
encuentro
as
fue
quite a
casual.
surprise when I encountered my erstwhile target while investigating the divine knowledge capsule.
Criminals do love to talk about coincidences.
Even though I ran into the traveler by chance, I had no intention of providing assistance to the academia. Also, you should remember, you were the ones who decided to follow me and strike up a conversation after I left that tavern.
Claro. Creo que eso es verdad.
That's true.
Es
Alhaitham helped us
cierto.
out at Caravan Rebat as well. Maybe he's telling the truth.
I'm willing to apologize if that's worth
Es
anything to you.
cierto, es cierto.
I took the divine knowledge capsule behind your back because I judged its existence to be a significant risk. I felt that it would be best for no one to interact with it before it had been properly studied. After all, curiosity often proves to be the most dangerous thing in this land.
La
You should be well
curiosidad.
aware, Scribe Alhaitham.
No, bueno, la
that
curiosidad es
curiosity
peligroso
can
para los
also
sabios.
lead you to danger and suspicion. Answer me this.
No para la
Did
población
the
de
sages
por
share
sí.
any information about their project with you?
Have I not made myself clear? You and I are both distrusted by the academia. Do you really think they would tell me anything?
Fine. Although you haven't completely proven your innocence, I won't regard you as an enemy, for now.
As you wish.
Aunque ya me encontré a Doctore. En el video anterior ya lo encontré
I'm glad
y ya
to
lo
see you
subí
two
también
clearing up your
a
misunderstandings.
mi
And
página
now you,
del
Dia.
rojito y a mi...
I believe
Perdón, a mi
it's your
página del
turn.
azul y al
Oh,
canal del
sorry.
rojito también ya lo
Whatever the
subí.
boys were talking about must have been so boring that I spaced out. My situation is pretty straightforward. My employer, Dunyarzad of the Homayani family, is
Miércoles.
friends with the traveler and is currently recovering from her illness at home. I had nothing going on, so I decided to return to Aru village for a visit.
Tenía nada que
I was
hacer, así que
actually
volví a
looking
la
forward
aldea.
to a pretty exciting time getting back together
Una
with everyone here.
visita.
But then I saw these two random guys in the middle of a pointless argument. It ticked me off, and things went downhill from there.
Is that all? Well, I will admit that definitely sounds like your style. In that case, welcome back, Dia.
That's more like it. I missed you all so much, Candace.
¿Qué pasó?
Whoa! What was that sound?
No need to worry. Now that you're no longer at each other's throats, please make yourselves at home. I'll take a quick trip outside to clear out some of those creatures in the sandstorm.
La yugular de los...
Creatures? In the sandstorm? Are you sure you don't want some backup?
Fighting in a sandstorm
Ella
is
se
not for the
refiere a que
faint-hearted.
ninguno de nosotros es una
Anyone
amenaza.
without extensive
Entonces, pues,
training in
caballero,
these
no.
conditions
Pónganse
is at a
libres.
disadvantage.
Siéntanse libres,
You needn't worry.
diría.
Yeah, just leave him to Candace. Don't worry, she's as tough as they come.
The wind's died down. That means the sandstorm's over, right? Candace still isn't back yet, though. Is she alright? Maybe we should go out and check on her.
When you put it that way, even I'm starting to feel a little worried. All right, let's go. We've been here long enough, and the boys are as chatty as the floor.
Hostilidad en el grupo. Hay que salir. Oh, hay misión secundaria. Alguien me da una misión secundaria. Sí hay, pero ya.
Oh, Candace, you're still fighting? You've been out here dealing with these creatures the entire time?
Yes. They just keep coming in waves. I've lost count of how many I've defeated. Before I realized it, even the sandstorm had stopped.
Debe de ser muy fuerte, debe de ser muy tenaz.
Here comes another wave!
Ay, estos
Leave this
desgraciados,
round
como
to
los
us.
odio.
I got interrupted
Y
earlier.
peor que tengo
Now I
escudo
have
en la...
something to take my anger out on.
En el equipo tengo escudo.
It's been quite a while since I've seen the flame main in action. I'll leave these to you then.
I'll be sure to
Ok,
put on a
león
good
ardiente
show.
ya me imagino que es de
Let's go.
elemento fuego. Lo cual me serviría porque no tengo un espadón de fuego.
Rain outlines your fate. Rain cutter.
No tengo espadón de fuego. Ay, ¿dónde están?
Here comes another wave! When are they ever gonna let up?
Estoy sangrando.
Scatter!
Ay, desgraciado. Qué pesado eres, en serio. Ay, contra. Pesado.
The creatures stopped appearing. Was that the last of them?
What we fought just now was probably the aftermath of the sandstorm. So we should be safe for the time being.
Well fought, everyone. No injuries, I hope.
Yeah.
you?
Ah, my apologies. I haven't had a chance to greet you yet. I had my hands full taking care of the village's elderly and children. I am the chief of Aru village. Everyone usually calls me Uncle Anpu.
Sir,
Mucho
I
gusto,
am also
supongo.
originally from the desert, but I have not been back for some time now. May I ask if such sandstorms are common?
I can't say they've always been common, but recently the storms have become increasingly severe and frequent. Besides sandstorms, we also occasionally get earthquakes. According to an investigator who stayed in the village a while ago, these unusual natural phenomena are related to the withering of Irminsul.
Another effect of Irminsul's withering. So, Irminsul's withering causes withering zones in the forest, and sandstorms and earthquakes here in the desert?
Everything in the natural world is inextricably connected to Irminsul. These regional symptoms can indeed be a reflection of Irminsul's present state.
Everyone in Aru village needs to take good care of themselves.
Todos
Speaking
deberían
of
tener
which,
cuidado en la
why
aldea,
haven't
Aru.
I seen a single village keeper since I got here?
Village keeper? Who are they? Village guards like Candace?
Does your
Volviendo
curiosity
a la
know no
aldea.
bounds?
¿Qué es esto?
Village Keeper is how Aru village refers to mad scholars exiled here by the academia. Most of them are scholars who lost their sanity after a period of training in the Avidia forest. The academia believes that their crazed mutterings may have a negative effect on the psyches of other scholars. So,
Esto es lo mismo que
they're
dijo
forcibly
Tignari.
exiled to the desert. Though if you ask me, it's all a boatload of nonsense.
Alas, that's exactly what we've been trying to investigate. One by one, the village keepers have been mysteriously disappearing without a trace. But no one in the village has ever seen them leave. If you're planning to stay around the village for the next few days, I'd appreciate it if you could keep an eye out for them.
I've had encounters with those people in the past. I'll see what I can do to help.
The Matra are the ones responsible for their exile. Now that you're no longer with them, are you trying to alleviate your guilt and atone for your past sins? I'm fascinated by how you think.
Mock me if you will, but if you are guilty, I will eliminate you, regardless of my position or identity.
Oh, you're the former General Mahamatra. You must be an expert
antiguo
in
gran
these kinds
juez.
of investigations. Thank you for your help.
Is it because you're reminded of Hypatia? Oh, these poor scholars. First they lose their sanity, now this! We need to help get them back home, safe and sound. But, is it really a good idea to tag along with Cyno?
Pues
You
es
seem
una
like
buena
you really
oportunidad
don't
para
trust him.
observarlo. Con ella y lo demás todo irá bien.
I'll be grateful for the assistance.
Creo
No
que sí.
doubt you will do a better job than some of my former subordinates. Let's start by finding a spot to share what we know so far.
Ok. Esta parte tendré que editarlo. Igual lo edito a veces. Partes
Although
que
I've
edito,
sent
aunque muy
myself
poco,
into
pero bueno.
exile, I'm still doing essentially the same things as before. Do you still have any questions for me before we start our investigation?
Guardianes de la Ley.
One of my former subordinates told me that this title has its origins in a strange incident. The academia has long exiled mad scholars to Aru village. A mysterious phenomenon exists here. When mad scholars first arrive, they are as incoherent and deranged as before. But after spending some time here, they invariably begin to calm down. Initially, the people of Aru village greatly resented having to take in the mad scholars. But a strange incident one night changed that. Aru village was struck by the strongest earthquake in living memory. seeing buildings on the verge of collapse all around him. The then chief of the village was preparing to take everyone to safety. Suddenly, he noticed a mad scholar crouching in a corner, caressing the ground with his hands. A soft, green light radiated from him, like a divine glow against the backdrop of night. Despite the powerful tremors that ripped through the ground that night, all the houses remained upright, almost as if they had grown roots reaching deep into the ground. In the end, not a single building collapsed, and no one was hurt. After that, the people of Aru village treated the mad scholars with greater kindness, and began to refer to them as the village keepers.
Guardianes de la aldea, los eruditos
A
locos.
mad scholar protecting Aru village?
¿Posible que se debiera al poder de Nájida?
What do you make of it, traveler? Paimon thinks so too. Actually, Cyno, do you know if any of the mad scholars continued to wear their Akasha terminals at Aru village?
In theory, they would continue
buen
wearing
punto.
them so the academia could still monitor their activities. With that said, the main Akasha system would no longer have any interaction with them.
Oh, no wonder! Everything makes sense then!
Buen punto por lo de la
They
Akasha,
calmed down.
porque
It was probably
porque
Nahida
en
who
la
calmed
parte en
down.
donde se dio el
If you are able to
festival del
draw a conclusion
Sapcerus,
from this one story alone,
usaron el
then it
Akasha
appears
para,
he possessed
para
much more
generarnos
information
un
than I
ciclo
do.
de sueños
So, what
indefinidos,
do you make of the
básicamente.
story?
Posible que el poder de los eruditos locos viniera de la reina menor Kusanali.
Really?
¿De verdad? ¿La reina
Master
menor?
Lord Kusanali.
What? You don't believe us?
¿Qué ocurre?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was definitely
¿Cuál
using the
era,
Akasha
cuál era el
to
otro?
get her
No lo,
powers,
no,
mad
ajá, el
scholars.
otro no lo llegué a leer.
It's not so much that I don't believe you. I'm just struck by your reasoning. Lesser Lord Kusanali, the current Dendro Archon. Is she really active in Sumeru? The Academia has always placed far greater importance on the late Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. They've more or less ignored Lesser Lord Kusanali, and I've never had any reason to doubt their views. In addition, I've never heard any stories about Lesser Lord Kusanali and her deeds. To me, she might as well have been a god that never existed.
No way! Nahida definitely exists! She's a... How should Paimon put it? She's a good Archon who's kind and wise. Even if she says weird stuff sometimes.
I've spent many years interrogating criminals, so I can easily tell when someone is lying.
Good! Then you should know that we're telling the truth.
That look in your eyes. I've never seen that from a liar. You two really must have met Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Ok.
How can this be? To think, our Archon has been amongst us this entire time.
Alright, now it's our turn to put our skills to good use for this investigation. But easier said than done.
Manos a la obra.
Especially since
Hay
we
que,
don't have
hay
any
que,
leads.
o bueno,
Hmm.
tengo interés pues en
Maybe we
descubrir
can
cómo
start
es
by
esta
knocking
historia.
on some doors.
Porque lo que he jugado últimamente en el video, en mi video anterior,
Excuse me.
ya he visto a
Are you here to
Escaramuza.
help me find my grandpa?
Huh? Who are you?
By the sounds of it, a resident of this village.
My name is Isak. You'll help me find my grandpa, right?
Is your grandpa a mad scholar?
Hey, don't say that. Grandpa is just Grandpa. Why do you have to call him that? It's not like he's a bad person or anything.
The person you're referring to is not a local, yet you are. Why do you call him Grandpa?
Grandpa is just Grandpa. He's
Mi
my
abuelo es el abuelo de su
family.
familia. Es que
I heard
explícate
everything you said to
mejor,
the
porque no le
village
puedes
chief.
llamar abuelo así nada
Please,
más a
you gotta
cualquiera,
take me
¿verdad?
with you. I wanna find
Cualquiera no
my
le puedes llamar
grandpa.
abuelo.
I swear I'll help. I won't be a nuisance.
Ah, So you're the one who was eavesdropping on us around the village chief's house. I was planning to go out and take care of whoever it was, but I had a vague feeling that they didn't harbor any ill intent.
Whoa. Hatham wasn't kidding about Matra having sharp senses. Cyno, he's just a kid. All he wants is to find his grandpa. Let's find a way to help him.
Ayudémosle.
I was only listening in because I wanted to know where Grandpa went. Honest. If you don't believe me, you can ask Miss Candace.
All right. But first, let's confirm the facts with Candace.
Ah, bueno. Ya estaría. ¿Y a dónde? Arriba. Como mi atajo. Es de noche. Ah, sí, es de noche.
Cyno is super vigilant. Is this what all the Matra are like?
Ah, you're back already.
We just wanted to confirm something with you. Do you know a boy by the name of Isak?
I had a feeling he'd go looking for you.
Huh? You knew this would happen?
Yes. Although he tried his best to stay hidden, I still noticed him eavesdropping outside the window. He really wants to get his grandfather back. Isak's parents were both Aramite mercenaries who rarely returned to the village after finding employment in the city. He was raised by his grandfather. Unfortunately, it was only a few years before his grandpa passed away. Isak was still very young at the time, so various families in the village took turns caring for him so he could survive. Later, an elderly mad scholar arrived at the village. Isak thought the scholar bore a striking resemblance to his grandfather, and thus often spied on the man. However, the scholar was unkempt in appearance and incoherent in speech. Although Isak referred to the man as his grandpa, he was afraid and didn't dare to approach him. One summer night, the oft mumbling and bumbling grandpa suddenly calmed down and seemed to become more lucid. He even noticed Isak hiding in the distance. So Grandpa walked up to Isak and patted him on the head. He even took Isak to the entrance of the village, where he patiently taught the boy the names of the stars, and accompanied Isak until he fell asleep. The next morning, Isak woke up and wanted to go find his grandpa again, only to realize his grandpa no longer recognized him. However, even so, Grandpa retained his calm expression. It's said that those who saw the scholar claimed he no longer appeared to be crazy, but appeared to be living in his own world, almost as if he were sleepwalking. Isak was thrilled that his grandpa was able to find peace, and would follow him all the time, asking him things like, "Grandpa, want me to take you somewhere fun?" Or, "Grandpa, could you tell me stories about the stars again?"
All this somehow just makes Paimon feel really sad. It seems like they both deserve so much better.
Perhaps. Nearly everyone who lives in the desert has some form of hardship or regret. But even so, we must still continue on with our lives. It's also my reason for fighting. I must continue to protect this land.
Maybe the people have always had a considerate god watching over them.
Huh? What did you say, Cyno?
No, nothing. As long as Isak keeps his word and doesn't get in our way, we can take him along.
Perhaps you are more compassionate than I gave you credit for. Please accept my thanks on Isak's behalf, Cyno.